Award-winning futurist researcher and keynote speaker Nikolas Badminton joins us on Canada Now for his weekly visit. Nick, this week we look at crypto art, which is basically a form of art that's entirely digital, correct?
Yeah, absolutely correct, and it's exploded with interest over the past few months. I've been following it for about 3 or 4 years now, and there's the early days of this, and buying digital art and tokenizing it and buying it using things like Ether or Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies has been sort of this nascent underground movement, but that's not the case anymore.
Yeah, this is much more popular than it used to be. So a piece of crypto art, like, can it be verified the same way physical art can be?
So when you buy an original piece of art, I mean, you verify it. Is that the right signature? Is it the right style? Is it by that artist? Yes. And you own it, and it's in a room, and it's on your wall or in a vault, and that's it. It's verified. With crypto art, you buy it using non-fungible tokens, and these are tokenized. You tokenize the art, which says, Jeff Sammut or Nick Badminton owns this piece of digital art. It's original. It's verified by the artist using ciphers and using codes, and then it's yours, and you can display it in whatever way that you want. In a digital form. So any screen. That you might want to hang a screen on your wall. It might just be on your computer. It might just be on your mobile phone. So it's kind of this interesting, challenging new format of art in the world where digital becomes as valuable as physical.
But what is, I think maybe you just answered, but what is the difference between an original and a downloaded image? Like, would I be able to tell the difference? Or maybe someone a bit smarter than I am be able to tell the difference?
I mean, this is all about ownership, right? I mean, you can go to the internet and you can download a picture of a Picasso, right? And you can set it as your wallpaper, and you feel pretty good about life, but it's not the Picasso. That's it. I mean, if you then went out and actually bought that Picasso for however much money, then you've got that validation of ownership of the original. So yeah, sure, you can download all of this, but it's about the ownership of something that is original. I think going forward, these are going to be these crypto art pieces are going to be up for a while, and then they're going to disappear. And I think you're going to have people that literally have got their own galleries, right? And some of that is going to be private, certainly.
We talk about this newfound popularity in crypto art. How did that happen? Like, how did this? Is it just with the age of technology came the popularity of crypto art?
I think over the years we've seen people really interested in digital as a medium for art, and I think that in the past year or so, we've just seen a lot of platforms pop up that can support things like crypto art and people buying them, and this sort of small counterculture economy, very much like Bitcoin in the early days, popped up, and then it became popular. I think off the back of the cryptocurrency boom that's happening right now, and the artists that are stepping into the game are just inspirational within the digital art world. And the kids want to own some of this, and the kids that have been mining Ether or Bitcoin have got that money or the cryptocurrency lying around. They want to buy something with it. This is all about growing your investment and building a collection, and it's just a different version of that.
Well, in talking about the legitimacy of it, those that might be old school and saying, well, come on, this isn't art. This is something that's just digital. This isn't physical art, which is what would be deemed to be the real art by some people. But at one point, Banksy's work was considered vandalism, and of course, that's not the case anymore.
Yeah, it's interesting. I've been watching, a lot of street art. I've been following graffiti since the '80s when I got into the hip hop culture in New York City, and I've been following it. And I followed Banksy a long time ago, and there's a website, I think it's called Art for Walls, and you could literally buy a dozen Banksy works authenticated by him and signed for £50, so about $75 a piece. And I was like, I don't really like Banksy, but they're probably worth tens of thousands of dollars now, right? It's one of those things. I think Banksy is of a particular taste. He's an activist. He really riles people up. I think that he's incredibly relevant because he shines the light on issues in the world, and that's great. I mean, obviously, people want to own a piece of that because you know what, we want people to come into our homes and go, oh, what's that? And suddenly, if you're a celebrity and you're well known, this is like modern jewelry, right? This is like modern diamonds. So these art pieces are just, you want to have something that someone else doesn't have. The scarcity. You don't want prints of art. You want the art piece. And it's the same with this crypto art. And that's pretty exciting right now. But what we're seeing is a lot of celebs, people like Mark Cuban, Gary Vaynerchuk, whatever, are jumping on this. You've got Christie's that are going to be auctioning off Beeple's everyday collections as well. So it's kind of interesting where we've gone.
Yeah, and you mentioned Beeple, and I wanted to find out more about that. What do you know about Beeple?
So he's a dad from Wisconsin. He's hugely irreverent and hugely relevant in the world of art today. So he's got 1.8 million Instagram followers, but he's done 5,000 days over 5,000 days without a break. Every single day he sits down and creates a new piece of art and distributes that, through social media and the such like. And what's really interesting is last December he auctioned 20 pieces of crypto art, and he made $3.5 million. Like US dollars.
Wow.
In a single day. And now Christie's are working with him to basically offer his art online. So Christie's are on board, which is huge validation for the entire crypto art scene. And it's very exciting. So suddenly this guy that's just a grassroots, activistic, driven, irreverent sort of guy that just is satirical and challenging and really pushes people thinking is suddenly in the mainstream, and it's a beautiful thing because the mainstream's kind of dull, Jeff.
Well, you mentioned Christie's. Outside of that, how can an artist best sell their crypto art and avoid using social media? Because those platforms can take your work and financially gain from it.
Yeah, this is interesting. So there are a few platforms out there that act as marketplaces, so these are the grassroots places. And in the crypto art world, there are people that are saying that there are people ripping off their art, downloading, a picture, throwing it into their computer, replicating it or elements of it in some way, then throwing it onto these platforms where people are buying it, thus validating it as well. So, this pirate nature of the internet has seeped into this world. But the community's fighting back, and this is really supporting a lot of artists that have not been able to really support themselves going forward. I collect a number of pieces of art. Over the top of my desk right now, I'm looking at a Shepard Fairey Obey piece, and it's an original that my partner bought for me. I've got another piece next to that by a guy that's a digital artist called Justin Totemical, and Justin Totemical does incredibly insightful sort of psychedelic art in a way. And now he's in the crypto art world, and he's earning money, and it's a beautiful thing to see that support.
Well, is this the direction that young artists are heading towards? Because, you think about like motion pieces, for example. They've become so popular. Like another example of how an artist can further express themselves with crypto art.
Some will, some won't. Some will still work in digital. I think what you'll have is crypto artists. There'll be the purists, and there'll be the purists that start off in that world and then go out into a physical world as well. And I like that idea that you can transcend even crypto art itself into being actually on the walls of homes. And I think that this is going to be really, really cool. Art has always been about challenge. It's been about changing ideas. It's like when Dali came out, or Picasso was, and the Cubist movement was pushing forward. And people like Damien Hirst, literally putting like sharks in formaldehyde in galleries. This is it. This is just another version of that radical expression, and I'm here for it, Jeff.
Yeah. Well, okay. So how does one become a crypto artist? Like, not that this is necessarily like a get rich quick scheme, because you have to actually have talent. But how does one go about becoming a crypto artist?
First, you've got to have creativity, like in your very soul, and you can draw and you can build ideas out in the computer, and it might be a simplistic two-dimensional picture, or you may go down the road of three-dimensional design, and really it's just about having an expression and the willingness to put it out in the world. There are very sort of there are some incredibly rudimental artists that push out a lot, and some of them catch fire because they've got real talent or expressionistic applications of their creativity into the artworks, and some are just like absolutely incredible, like Justin Totemical, like Beeple, like a number of other people as well. I think it's going to get interesting when we've got big artists today, Jeff Koons and all of those other people sort of jumping into the crypto art world. I don't think it's going to be easy for them, because I don't think it's safe waters for the people that think normally about the world.
Okay, so that's them. What about the rest of us that would be looking to purchase crypto art? So what would be the most popular currency that is used? Like, do you need to have a crypto wallet for buying and I guess for selling?
Yeah, so one of the most popular cryptocurrencies out there is Ether. Actually, the idea of Ether came out of the University of Waterloo, and Vitalik Buterin and his friends sort of build that out. And now Ether's something that I hold, and it's because it's a more practical cryptocurrency. Bitcoin is like this crazy sort of investment vehicle for a lot of people, but I've always liked Ether because of its practicality. And Ether is one of the currencies that you can use for crypto art. In fact, a lot of the platforms out there are saying that, yeah, you buy this art with Ether. So, for example, Christie's are going to be selling the first 5,000 days by Beeple from the 25th of February to the 11th of March, and people will buy that with Ether. You have to set up your wallet. You need to buy some crypto, and what you do is you just convert your dollars into crypto. You can do that through a lot of very, very well regulated and valid cryptocurrency exchanges and marketplaces. So, it's pretty safe these days. Cryptocurrency has become more normalized through marketplaces and application over the years. And Bitcoin's going nuts, and I think it'll be up and down like a roller coaster until it gets completely regulated out of existence.
Well,
and that's pretty.
is cryptocurrency normalized to a point where you could go to your regular banking institution and convert those dollars into Ether or Bitcoin?
No, not right now.
Not yet? Do you think that's going to happen?
I mean, this is the big question. Are banks looking at this seriously? Yes. They're looking at it as investment vehicles. There's even ETFs out there that you can do investments. It's become something that's a lot safer. I think that will banks sort of support that? No, and that's because the anonymous nature of cryptocurrency and the potential source of where some of these funds come from leads itself potentially to money laundering, and that's where things get very grey in terms of regulation here. So we're very much going to find the cryptocurrency exchanges that are out there, like CoinSquare and other platforms. Are there to support us being able to do that, and then they do the transactions, and then they enable you to pass the funds back into your bank. But then you have to come clean with the tax person and say, hey, I've earned this money, please tax it. And this is why so much currency is staying in the virtual cryptocurrency space and not hitting the normal banking system, because it's tax avoidance as much as investment, right, at this point.
Okay, getting back to crypto art before I let you go, like, there are environmental concerns to the making of crypto art, right? I mean, like, 'cause it can consume a lot of energy.
Absolutely, it's a real challenge. So it's not environmentally sustainable in its current form. So NFT, so non-fungible token platforms like Nifty Gateway and Super Rare need to make energy usage and scalability their number one priority. So when you generate Ether, when you generate Bitcoin or any other cryptocurrency, you have to solve difficult algorithms to earn that extra piece of the currency. And to do that, you have to run computers, very high-powered computers, to solve algorithms. So you're burning electricity. And what's being said right now is Bitcoin's hit $1 trillion, I think, market cap right now, and the amount of energy produced to do the trades and to create new Bitcoins is just really hugely energy intensive. So this has to be something that gets solved, and it's one of the parts of cryptocurrency generation that's really sort of short-sighted from its inception. That we're gonna have electricity on hand, and we're going to have to, consume a huge amount of it in a world where a lot of the infrastructure that provides electricity isn't actually renewable energy.
Well, hopefully that's going to change down the road, for the success of cryptocurrency and for the success of crypto art as well. Check out NikolasBadminton.com. Futurist, researcher, keynote speaker, Nikolas Badminton. Always a pleasure, my friend. We'll talk again next week.
I'll see you in virtual reality, Jeff.